Hi everyone, this is the last video in 2021. In a few days, 2022 will arrive. I want to take the time to reflect on the past year and share with you what I've learned. When I was setting up the banner for this channel in early 2021, the friend who was helping me with marketing asked me to come up with a tagline. I thought about it. Two words came up: wisdom and courage. These two words kept ringing in my head in 2020, which was probably the most challenging year for many of us. At the time, I felt that we needed wisdom and courage to get out of the predicament we found ourselves in. To have wisdom was difficult. To have the courage was easier said than done. There were lots of intelligent and smart people, but many didn't have the courage to speak up. I also saw many others who weren't afraid to speak up, but didn't do so wisely and ended up paying the price. I concluded that we need both wisdom and courage during this treacherous period if we don't want to get lost. I must tell you, choosing a tagline was easy, but practicing what it means wasn't. This past year, 2021, has been the start of my journey to explore wisdom and courage. When we're new to something, one big question has always been, how can we be very good at what we do and be at the top of the class? A more relevant question for me was, how do I have the wisdom to see through the maze of our reality that's full of conflicts, competition, manipulation, and deceit? One day, I think I was doing my makeup, I thought of the Chinese expression 无敌. It means invincible, unbeatable, or the best. The term is made up of two Chinese characters, no and enemy. It makes sense, right? When you are invincible, you have no enemy. I asked myself, what kind of people would have no enemies? There are two types. The first is those who are fiercely competitive and would consistently win over others, the dominating type. The other is those who don't need to fight because they have no enemies. It's impossible for them to have enemies because they are immensely kind. This is the type that wins without fighting or even trying. They are the ultimate winners. At that moment, as if a light was turned on, it just dawned on me, kindness is the true wisdom. Kind people are invincible. In fact, the Chinese word for wisdom, 智慧, is made up of two characters. The first character 智 means intelligence or cleverness, and the second character 慧 means kindness or goodness. You see, the ancient Chinese defined wisdom as intelligence plus kindness. Without kindness, there would be no wisdom. We seem to have forgotten about this and put too much focus on intelligence only. Some people may argue that you can't win by just being kind. Well, kindness is a mindset and is certainly not the only ingredient in winning, but it's the most crucial one. When I'm kind, I'm rational and able to analyze complex situations. When I'm kind, I'm more open-minded and can accept new ideas and thinking. When I'm kind, I'm at ease with myself and enjoy what I do, and I'm more creative. Most importantly, when I'm kind, I know what's not kind and have a better sense of judgment, so I won't become lost. My friends, don't ever underestimate the power of kindness. It's the source of our wisdom. But I admit that being kind isn't easy in today's world. It requires a lot of self-discipline and perseverance. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm just happy that I found the way. The Chinese term courage is made up of two characters, 勇 and 气. 勇 means warrior or bravery, and 气 means air or energy. So courage is the air of a warrior, or the energy of being brave. When I started the channel, people asked me if I was afraid because they said I was very outspoken. I don't worry about offending anyone because I never embellish on rumors or hearsay. I just offer my analysis based on news and facts that others have already reported. But I was a little uncomfortable putting myself out in public and being subject to attacks and verbal abuse from people with ulterior motives. So I sat down and analyzed my fear. I asked myself, what is it that you fear? I found that fear stems from self-consciousness. Fear often is a perception based on the unsubstantiated worry about oneself. But the more you think about yourself, the more fear sets in. If you focus on others, you don't have as much fear. If you think about it, acts of selflessness are always fearless. Chinese have a saying that perfectly explains it. Selfless people have no fear. 无私者无畏. Another way to translate it is, without selfishness, one has no fear. I've decided to let go of the fear by not thinking too much about myself or how others think of me. Let go of the many wants associated with making these videos. The number of views, subscribers, likes, donations, and all that. I want to focus on the videos I want to make and enjoy the process, not the results. When a great artist is on stage, she can't be worrying about how many people are in the audience and whether or not she'd have great reviews. She will be immersed in her performance and in her art only. Like many, I was a competitive person who took great pride in my talents and skills. The past 2 years, particularly the last year, taught me to go back to the basics. What we learned when we were kids is still very applicable in our professional life. Be kind and help others. Knowledge, talents, and impeccable skills could be blinding sometimes, but kindness and selflessness will always help us win. I also learned not to take myself too seriously, so I want to end my video by sharing some of my not-so-wise moments. I hope they cheer you up. Wish everyone a great 2022 and lots of wisdom and courage. EV batteries contain heavy metals such as cobalt, nickel, and A little earlier, on November 5th, the German frigate BAYERN. The German frigate BAYERN. On November 5th, the German frigate BAYERN.
2,000 years later.
The German frigate BAYERN arrived in Tokyo.
Wait a minute.